Representative Smith, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Chair Avila. I want to shift gears a little bit over to an issue that you know is near and dear to my heart, as well as yours, the Agency for Persons with Disabilities wait list. You mentioned during your introduction of this silo that $59.61 million was going to be in the budget to reduce the wait list for the iBudget waiver program through APD by 1,192 people. Can you contextualize that investment for us and let us know or tell us how many folks are currently on the wait list, and how does this investment compare to last year's budget investment in reducing the APD wait list?
Representative Avila, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, certainly last year we made an investment of over $90 million into providing services to the individuals that are on the wait list. We made significant gains in terms of individuals that were really of the most in crisis, to make sure that they came off of that wait list. With this year's investment of close to $60 million, that is going to enroll an estimated 1,192 individuals. Right now, the individuals, we have about 22,750 individuals on the wait list. Of that number, the ones that are in the most critical need for services are 591 individuals. So our investment this session in this budget, coupled with our investment last session, we've certainly taken an unprecedented approach to making sure that we provide those services to those individuals that critically need it. So as I mentioned before, the ones that are in critical need are 591 individuals. So basically going even beyond group 5. So we have 8 categories. The most severe are, the 1 through 5 categories. With our investment this session and this budget, we're going beyond that category to make sure that we capture all of those individuals that really are in crisis and need those services.
We're going to continue questions, but I want to ask members to please take your conversations to the bubble. Representative C. Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Chair Avila, for your investment in persons with disabilities living in Florida who've been on the wait list. My question, you mentioned the 8 categories of need. So I heard in your answer that there's 591 people who will now be removed from the wait list. I think that's all of them that are in the category of most need. They are deemed in crisis. So if we're eliminating 1,192 people from the 22,000 person wait list, that obviously goes beyond the 591 in critical need. Up to what categories of need are we funding to remove those individuals from the wait list?
Representative Avila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So we're essentially going to category 6. The description of that category is, individuals 21 years of age or older that do not meet any of the above criteria. So those are individuals that are not in crisis, but we are well into that category in providing services to those individuals. Now, again, you'll have individuals that are coming in. That's just, the wait list is going to continue to grow. So, we're trying to make sure that we keep up with that as much as possible. Certainly, the agency is as you know, and I know, serving on the Healthcare Appropriations Committee, the agency is trying to keep up sort of with the processing of everything. So we're monitoring that situation, but we are well into that category number 6. With the first 5 categories, those individuals that need those critical services are receiving those services.
Representative Smith.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for the answer. Up to Category 6 is what we're funding to get folks off of the wait list. My next question has to do with the rate increase through APD. I know that we're funding the $15 per hour for direct care staff. I think that that's tremendous, so I want to say thank you for that. My question is, how are we incentivizing more providers? Because my understanding is that even if we got billions of dollars that fell out of the sky, wouldn't that be wonderful? I guess that's what the federal government is for. Even if we were in a hypothetical situation to get funding to eliminate the 22,000 person wait list, the problem we have, as you know, is finding providers that are willing to provide these services at a low rate. My question is, how are we incentivizing more providers to come to the table to provide these services so that once we invest future funds, we will eventually be able to eliminate the 22,000 person wait list?
Representative Avila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative C. Smith, for that. So what we're doing is increasing those waiver rates to try to attract more providers to provide those essential services. So we're making an additional investment aside from that 59.6. We're making an additional investment of $14.2 million in order to make sure that we bring in more providers, again, to, as you mentioned, to provide those essential services to those individuals that critically need it.
Representative Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Excellent. And I'm understanding that $14.2 million in rate increases to bring more providers to the table to be separate from the rate increase for direct care staff. I believe that to be the case. Okay, you're nodding your head, so thank you for that. My next question is, I have to find the line to see exactly how much we're investing in the services themselves to those who are already enrolled in APD. What was the total cost? Because as you know, once they're enrolled in the iBudget waiver program, it's essentially an entitlement, and we fund those services year after year once they're enrolled. How much is that total amount, and is that total amount in the budget to provide services to folks who are already enrolled in iBudget waiver? Is it more or less than we expected? How close to the estimates is that line item?
Representative Avila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So the total figure is just over $2 billion. So compared to years past and certainly to other sessions, I mean, this is obviously a historic and unprecedented amount. It obviously shows our commitment to make sure that the individuals that need the services are provided those services. So again, to your question, it's roughly just slightly above $2 billion.
Representative Smith.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for that. Yeah, to contextualize that, $2 billion to fund those persons with disabilities currently enrolled is a tremendous investment. I don't think I heard an answer to my question, though, about the $2 billion investment. Is that close to what we were expecting? Did we anticipate that this year's budget appropriation to fund those who are currently on the list was going to be $2 billion? I just want to get a sense of, as a legislature, how accurate are we able to estimate what these costs are for the iBudget waiver program for those that are currently enrolled year after year? Representative
Avila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So they're currently not in any sort of deficit, and the department monitors their progress, and their caseload on a monthly basis. So the department's able to see where they're at and what needs. If they're running any sort of deficits, they're able to certainly act and provide any resources that they may need in order to meet that deficit. But for the most part, this this investment, as I mentioned before, is really it's a significant increase from prior years. And it speaks to sort of what what we've been saying since day one. Certainly on our board of trustees, Representative C. Smith, which is those individuals that need help. It's incumbent on us to do everything we possibly can. Certainly with the speaker's leadership, Chair Trumbull's leadership, we were able to make that a possibility and making sure that we had that significant increase in order to provide those services to those individuals that need it.
Representative Smith.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate that. The $2 billion, as you mentioned, was a significant increase in funding those currently enrolled in iBudget waiver who have disabilities compared to last year. I suppose what my closing question is, for those of us who are returning, is the fact that we do not include enrollment in iBudget and the wait list for the APD iBudget program, is the fact that we do not include that in the social services estimating conference, is that putting us in, is it putting the legislature at a disadvantage as far as being able to forecast these costs? Because I anticipate that since you said the $2 billion cost to provide services to those on the APD iBudget waiver program was a significant increase compared to last year, I worry that maybe we had to take a lot of money away from another silo because we didn't expect that it was going to cost us $2 billion this year. What are your thoughts on that? And is not including this in the social services estimating conference putting us at a disadvantage in budget planning?
Representative Avila, do you recognize?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So current state law right now mandates that that all iBudget expenditures that they have to remain within the appropriation. So certainly federal law also allows the states to place limits on those waivers. So from that standpoint, certainly I don't think it puts us at a disadvantage because we have those checks in place. And we've certainly been able, as we're doing right now with this budget, we're certainly able to make the investments that we need to in order to make sure that that those services are being distributed, that those services are being provided to those individuals that need it.
One more question, you promised. Representative Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You're amazing. Chair Avila, sorry, I had another question that occurred to me. I guess my final question is trying to understand with clarity. Last year we invested, thanks to your leadership, $95.7 million to reduce the 22,000 person APD waitlist. That removed 2,200 people from the waitlist. This year we've invested $59 million to reduce the waitlist by approximately 1,200 people, as you mentioned. Is that keeping us current with the growth of the waitlist? In other words, given the fact that more people have been added to the waitlist since last session, is this investment of $59.61 million is reducing the wait list here in your proposal, reducing it by more than the wait list was extended? Do you understand my question?
Representative Avila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And certainly with the investment that you mentioned last session and the investment that we're making this session, I mean, we're talking about roughly almost $160 million, which again is unprecedented in terms of our investments to make sure that we address this critical need. So from the standpoint of the amounts in last session and this session, it's a significant amount, right? With regards to are we keeping up with demand, I believe that we're certainly keeping up with the individuals that are in critical need, that are in crisis. We're certainly making sure that those are the very first individuals that we are addressing and making sure that they have the services that they need. And we're going, as I mentioned before, we're now going well into the the bottom tier of the categories, into category 6. And again, you're going to have individuals that come into, they apply to get onto the waiver list that aren't necessarily in crisis, but they apply in order to get on the wait list. But with regards to those that need it today because they are in crisis, we are meeting that demand and much more.
We continue in questions on healthcare. Representative Tant, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to first preface my question with the fact that I recognize the amazing leadership you have done. And actually, Secretary Palmer's calling me about my questions. So I want to recognize you for the amazing work you've done in whittling down this wait list to the best of your ability. It continues to grow, and what I'm most excited about with this year's budget is what you described as getting into category 6, because those are the folks, once you've done category 1s through 5, that are really flying without a net. So my question is, for the category 6 folks that you talked about, how many are we covering under category 6 under this year's proposal?
Representative Avila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I know that the ones in categories 1 through 5, we have roughly 591 individuals. And with the investment that we're making, we are covering an estimated 1,192 individuals on the wait list. So it would be, the deduction of that.
Representative Tant.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for that answer. The question that I also, do you know what the requirements are for those category 6 folks to move into that number?
Representative Avila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, I mean, with category 6, right now, as I mentioned before, it's individuals, the description for category 6 is individuals 21 years of age or older that don't meet any of the above criteria. Now, the above criteria are essentially criteria that, are individuals that are in some way, shape, or form in different levels of crisis, that are needing essential services, immediately. So right now, category 6, those are individuals that are on the wait list right now, but that don't necessarily meet any of those criteria, aren't sort of in that crisis range yet, but they're on it just in case if obviously their health or disability were to get worse.
Representative Tant.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So do we have the ability to figure out what it's costing us for those category 6 folks to not be served? And I ask that because that's the folks that I do the most work with in my community with the work that I do, and I see them regress. I see in real time the need grow day by day. So have the Revenue Estimating Conference, has anybody at the social conference ever looked at what that cost is?
Representative Avila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative Tam, for that question. So, again, those between the over 96 million last session and close to 60 million this session, in terms of addressing sort of that critical need, in categories 1 through 5, we're certainly, making sure that the ones that need it today, that are in extreme crisis, that they are being provided those services and being taken off that wait list. And we go into category 6 with a significant amount as well. So, we're trying to make sure that, obviously the budget, the healthcare budget, we're providing services in a multitude of areas. But I think certainly with the investment that we made last session, coupled with the investment that we're making this session, which is, again, unprecedented when you put both years together in addressing the wait list, I think that we are on the right track. And it's certainly something that next term I anticipate whoever the healthcare appropriations budget chair will be and whoever the appropriations chair will be, I anticipate, that investment will continue.
Additional questions, Representative Tant?
I really don't have any other questions except for I do want to acknowledge with gratitude the
Representative
fact
Tant?
that you have made the.
Representative Tant, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you're going to have time in debate to tell him how wonderful he is. Additional questions for